I told you.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the very first inaugural episode of It's All Nonsense.
It's all nonsense.
Because it really is all nonsense.
Yeah.
My name is Mark Bechtel. This is Justin Kadish. And we are basically two middle-aged dads who have too much time on our hands and thought, you know what? Let's just do a podcast because people want to listen to the nonsense and crap that we talk about on a daily basis.
We hope they want to listen to it.
And I hope they do because, listen, I'm not just being modest, but I think I'm pretty funny.
You've got the perfect face for radio.
That's why my mother always told me.
I was hesitant to introduce the video aspect to this, to be honest with you. More so for you than me, but
obviously, yes.
But no, I think we'll be all right. We're no cameras are broken,
right? Yet. We sort of both got the same reaction from our wives when we told them we're going to be doing a podcast, and they're like, "Well, why?" Because obviously,
that was the exact. They're like, "Who's going to listen to you?"
They have the same thoughts that many other people have. Perhaps, maybe is we've heard your stories for 20 years.
They haven't heard the good stuff.
Well, we'll save the good stuff.
Yeah, that's maybe down the
But we also have to remember during this podcast, we have to be careful what we say when we say it.
That's true.
Just to avoid any family strife. You know.
We'll save that for like a February episode.
We have to remember there are people listening to this podcast that we are related to. So
and maybe still want to be related
maybe
to.
We'll use pseudonyms for those people. They'll know who they are.
Yeah, that's exactly
nobody else will. So, that's a good thing. But ultimately what we're looking to do here is honestly just have some fun.
Yeah.
Talk about life, whether it's important issues, stupid issues that make no sense whatsoever. And hopefully, maybe learn one or two things along the way.
Who are we going to learn them from?
That's why we're going to have guests.
Oh, okay.
So
that makes sense.
The guests will enlighten us to a broad range of different topics and subjects that will be, fun and interesting, and they'll pick up the show. You know what I mean? They'll bring it up to an actually respectable level, which is my ultimate goal, is just not to be an idiot and sound like a moron in front of a bunch of people.
That's fair. That's fair.
I've done that for most of my life.
I was going to say, didn't you make your living off of that?
So yeah, as the fact that I am in sales, my goal in life is to at least sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Because you sure as hell don't know. And no, you don't look like you know what you're talking about.
That's why I wear the glasses.
Yeah. You should have the hat on,
most people think that I wear the glasses because I'm going blind, which is what some people in this house will tell you. But I wear the glasses because I feel it raises my IQ score a good 30 to 40 points.
That was not evidenced when you were setting up the camera.
Well, I'm not technologically
and not being able
advanced.
To read your phone letters.
I'm not technologically advanced. That's not a lie, but
Gen X right there.
You don't. Yeah, I'm a Gen Xer, so I know enough to be dangerous. I have a lot of people that I know that are my age that are fantastic with this stuff. I know enough to be dangerous to myself and others with technology. That's about it.
The look on your face, though, when I brought all this stuff in was like almost probably like what it was yesterday, since it was yesterday. What was yesterday?
Shoot.
You don't remember. See, you're going senile already.
Wasn't Jesus born?
That's what they tell us.
That's right. Yes. Christmas.
That's it.
Christmas.
That was it. Yep.
Christmas. Another awesome Christmas in our house. The kids let us sleep till I think 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we got to like 7:30. Actually, I was up the earliest, but
that's a record, quite honestly. I remember when I was a kid getting up like at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Driving my parents bananas.
We had the tradition of the probably most people do of our age category, where you had to either stay in your bedroom, stay in the master bedroom, stay at the top of the steps until everybody came down and did their stuff, got their coffee, took a crap, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was I know that was my life growing up for sure. So now I do it to my kids just to piss them off.
That's a nice form of torture.
Yeah,
and
it works out.
We try that, but it does not work because the dog does not listen. And if she goes down first, she is going to tear every single piece of wrapping paper in the house. Most dog owners can back me up on this.
Luna led our puppy. She actually did okay because I let her out and she ran around the house and then she ran back upstairs before the kids came down.
Yeah.
But once the wrapping paper was all over the place, that's when she was like just
going nuts,
going berserk. Yeah,
I swear. Well, and this is probably a fact. I haven't physically counted, but I believe the dog actually received more presents than I did this year.
I wouldn't doubt it at all.
I believe that for a fact. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, it might be even that I brought some of this stuff. So I don't know if that counts as your Christmas present or our Christmas present, but I did give you a light bulb over there.
Listen, at my age, I appreciate light bulbs. I appreciate gifts now. I never thought I would. I just don't want to get into a situation where I mention something that I need or I could use, and then that's all you get for a Christmas.
I have tried for needless amount of time to get bourbon and cigars for Christmas.
Right.
And I've been getting cigars the last couple years from not my wife because she absolutely can't stand it.
Sure.
Which I love because then I can go sit outside by myself and everybody leaves me the hell alone.
It's a win-win situation.
It's a fantastic win-win situation. Honey, love you. But no bourbon. So I have to treat myself once in a day.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable. I still remember years and years and years ago when I was a kid, and we would do Christmas Eve with my mom's side of the family, Christmas Day with my dad's side of the family. And I remember my grandfather, my dad's dad, said just once, I really could use some socks.
Yeah.
My grandfather received 63 pairs of socks at Christmas.
There you go.
That is a God's honest truth and can be verified by sources.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Namely my father. That's one of the memories I don't know why I will take to my grave is my grandfather just getting socks and socks and socks. And you had to laugh about it because if you didn't laugh about it, you were going to cry about it.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like all I got was socks.
Yeah. My dad was somewhat similar because he worked for Boeing for a very long time and they had to wear a suit pretty consistently. So most Christmases consisted of.
Wait a minute. Did he work at Boeing while the windows were coming out, or is that a new thing for Boeing?
The window. Yeah. No, he's been gone for a long time.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and he was in IT, so he was
well, there you go.
computer security stuff
gotcha.
and all that stuff. But yeah, so he would get his main Christmas staples were dress socks, undershirts, underwear, and white dress shirts.
That poor guy.
So yeah, that was and chapstick.
What?
My dad is a huge chapstick nut.
Is he?
He's
really?
one of those like lifelong there's always a chapstick around. If it's not on the counter, it's in his pocket. It's in his car.
Yeah.
Like he's always got
Really?
Oh my God. Yeah. Little black chapstick. He hated any other flavor or whatever you want to call
Right.
it. But yeah.
The original.
Oh, OG.
The
All
black.
OG. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would explain a lot for an IT guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. He kissed a lot of ass.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
That's why he had a good career.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
But yeah, no, I think it was a pretty light Christmas for the Kadish parents as well. We took it pretty easy this year. So
I was thrilled with this year's Christmas. It went well. We did something a little different this year. My brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and their kids are in Germany. this year for Christmas, visiting my brother-in-law's family. So it was just myself, Jen, and the boys. And we had my in-laws over in the morning for breakfast.
Right.
And it was great because they got to sort of see the presents from Santa Claus for the boys. And then they went back to their house, and we sort of got changed around, and we ended up going over there. Had a nice, I would say, early dinner, late lunch.
Dinner.
Yes, and my mother-in-law made an awesome lasagna, and the boys opened their presents from my in-laws, and it was just honestly a nice, relaxing Christmas, which is what I love.
Yeah,
I don't like all the hustle and bustle of the, we're going to have 30 people over
going all over the place.
Christmas generally.
Yeah.
There are different times to do that, but Christmas Day, it's nice just having the insular family. And it was nice, and we were home by 7, 8 o'clock, and it felt like 11.
Sounds about right.
The kids and Jen fell asleep, and I watched a Christmas movie, and then went to bed myself, and it was nice and relaxing.
What was the rating on that Christmas movie?
It was PG.
You're full of shit.
I am not. So most, if not all people in my family, especially this household, know my all-time favorite Christmas movie is Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
Now, which version?
Well, that's for another podcast.
Okay.
Because I could go off on a tangent.
Got it.
About the difference. So I have watched every single version of that movie, dating back to 1935 to 99 in the 2000s. And every version is a little bit different.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I always make it a point every Christmas holiday to watch all of them. And I had one left. And I watched it last night. I stayed up to about 2 o'clock in the morning watching it. And the kids and my wife think I'm crazy. They think the movie is just scary, so they won't watch it.
Is that the Jim Carrey animated?
The one thing? Of them. But I watched that one earlier in the week. But yeah, that's one of them that I did watch. But it's funny because I give the kids and Jen crap because I'm always watching that movie by myself because they will never watch it with me because it's scary. I don't get it. I don't. But
is it the Patrick Stewart one?
That's one of them. That's one of my favorite.
Oh, yeah,
versions.
I'm just trying to I know there's a ton of.
It's just the stuff with the ghosts and whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
like
we'll get into it in the next one.
Yeah, but that was a nice way to sort of cap the evening. Went to bed, got up, and was like, oh, why don't we just film a podcast? Because
and just so everybody knows, we are breaking the cardinal rule of video work right now because it's 10:05 Eastern Standard Time, PM. So you are definitely not supposed to film at night. So so if this looks like absolute crap, the next one might be better.
The fact of the matter is, the more you do anything, it's going to get better. But
we set the bar pretty low.
Listen, I'm missing watching football for this. So
that's right.
This might be something.
Oh, speaking of football.
Oh.
Guess who's in the championship this
Well,
week?
Since I'm in the championship every year.
Yeah, but the newbie to the family one.
Right.
This guy.
So
right here.
Justin qualifies as Bechtel family since he has sat at my father's bar. So he's officially family.
And his wife is a fantastic bartender.
Yes. And
Jill,
we will
awesome.
We will save the trash talk for later because
maybe next week, depending on who wins.
That is correct. That is correct. So there was a whopping $5 entry fee into our league this year.
Is that all that's win? Jesus.
Yes. No, that's not what you win.
Oh, what do you win?
If you win, it's 35.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's something.
Yeah.
It's not high stakes
15
gambling
for second. Is that what it is?
Whatever equals out to 50. I don't know. I'm not a math guy. Whatever.
You're not much of a guy.
Well, I look good. I have a nice voice. I make it work for me. I have a nice.
You've got the sultry voice.
I do have the perfect face for radio.
You do.
Anyway. So yes, we have the fantasy championship this weekend.
That's right.
It should be interesting. Hopefully, all of Justin's players get hurt. I could use the $35. That would be nice. Buy myself.
It would have purchased the 2 sets of headphones.
Yes. So yes,
The super high quality
that'll cover
clearance headphones that we got today.
That'll cover the cost of the headphones to go towards this wonderful broadcast.
Right.
But it should be a fun championship because we both have very good teams.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bore everybody with fancy talk because
There's
if it's not your team, shut up.
Yeah.
It's just boring.
Yeah,
you don't want to listen
exactly.
to it. I get it
Yep.
because I've been doing it for 20 years now, and nobody wants to hear anybody talk about fantasy unless it's about your team.
Yeah, unless you're in the playoffs, like actually
Correct.
going for something.
No
right?
one really needs to.
Yeah, because my other teams have shit the bed this year, so
it worked. It worked out for the better.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about being able to at least sit down and talk today is just sort of setting the mood for what this podcast is going to be. Set
the mood.
There's not going to be a lot of, I don't want to say no direction because that just sounds like we're putting no effort into it.
You had talking points,
right?
Which he failed to share with me.
So I didn't talk about any talking points with Justin because a lot of this is going to be best as spontaneous. It's something that I don't want you to be able to prepare for because that means you would give a good answer. What I'm looking for
is a lot smarter.
What I'm looking for is ratings, and to get ratings, I need you to stay. I need you to
sober. That was not going to.
Well, not sober, just not completely drunk.
No, I'm not even there.
But most importantly, I need you to, be off guard with some of the stuff. So hopefully we'll get really stupid, funny content, which is kind of what we're going for with most of this. So there is a set of questions to sort of get to know you better. I know you very well, but maybe a lot of people out there don't know you very well.
No, because my Facebook posts have mostly been people on your side commenting. Most of the people on my side are like, what the F are you doing?
Well, because most people like me better.
This is 100% true.
Yeah. And I'm not as scary looking as you are. So what I'm going to do.
And that was that was when I had hair.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we're going to throw out some questions, and this is all just general kind of knowledge.
Okay.
To sort of get to know you a little better, and I'll chime in with some stuff from me.
Sure.
Just so everybody, can get to know us, and sort of what we're about and who we are and why we are and all that good stuff.
Okay. Roll.
First question, Justin Kadish.
Marcus.
You are married.
I am.
To a lovely woman.
She is.
And her name is?
That would be Melissa Kadish, former Steiner, longtime resident, lifelong resident of Reading, Pennsylvania.
Nice. And you have how many kids?
Too many. I have too many children.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Nah, we've got 4. 2 boys, 2 girls. The boys are 13, 11. Girls are 6 and 5 and are true Irish twins. Do you know what that means?
I come from a very large Irish Catholic family on my mother's side, so
explains the drinking problem.
I am familiar with the term. So yes, were you excited when
you didn't answer? You've got to answer what the Irish twins are.
Oh, you want an answer?
Well, they need an answer. People may not know that. I've run into a lot of people that
listen.
Know what
I give people out there a lot of credit that they know what Irish twins are.
Yeah,
but for those of you who do not know what Irish twins are, AKA, within a year you're pregnant again. That's generally what it is.
Yes,
a little too much to drink, and you end up with too many baby.
Yeah.
So that's basically the definition of an Irish twin.
This is true. Yeah, my girls were born. My youngest daughter was born 9 days before my other daughter turned 1.
There you go.
That's that.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Be careful. This could be you.
The more you know.
Exactly. Now, once you had the 4th child, was it then that you considered your life was officially over? Or were you looking for child number 5?
I wasn't looking for child number 3.
Well, there you go.
My lovely wife and I had some medical intervention that helped with the first 3 children to be conceived, and they are healthy, happy, no issues, thank goodness. So I had actually inquired about the snippy snip procedure after child number 3, and I was scheduled to have a consult a couple weeks after we found out we were pregnant. So just like my pullout game, too little, too late.
That's what I call being born under a bad sign. That's just bad karma right there.
3 of the children are all born in July. 9 days apart from each other. So 3rd, 12th, and 21st.
Isn't that nuts? That's kind of crazy, man.
That's insane. So there was a lot going on in October.
Jeez. Think about that.
Yeah.
I'd rather not, but
me too.
That's pretty clever. That is really interesting. Now, another question. What do you do? What is your thing? What gets you up and wants to get out of bed every day? Like what motivates you?
Well, those are 2 different questions, because what gets me out of bed every morning is usually the smell of coffee, and or if it's a weekend or a holiday, there might be some adult drink to go with that.
Sure.
By career, what I do professionally is I am an insurance broker, independent insurance agent. Been in the business for going on 13 years. Yeah, it's an interesting, boring type of job.
That sounds terrible. I'm so sad that I asked that question. I will never get that time back in my life.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. No, actually, my business is great. I've done very well. Excuse me, for many years. I was formerly a professional auto technician for several different dealerships throughout my career. I graduated from a technical school in Exton, not far from my parents' house, after I had spent 2 years in college at Pitt for a worthless education. Still love Pittsburgh, hated college. So went to tech school, was able to get a job right out of tech school, worked in the automotive industry for several years, 8 years, I think it was total, and was absolutely getting the shits of it from the dealership I was at. I won't say who specifically, but it is located here, and their logo might start with an H and end with an A. But it propelled me into my career with farmers that I was with for 9 years as an owner operator. Had a office. I was in a cube farm in King of Prussia to start for the first 13 months, and then a business partner and I ventured out to a location in Elverson, which is right outside of Morgantown. And we split an office out there for a bit of time, split staff members. I had an incredible young lady. Well, not necessarily young. She's only a couple months younger than I am, but she was my right-hand woman, helped out with so much, helped me run the business. Courtney, I love you still. Thank you so much for everything. Glad you're thriving in your career now. And then a couple years ago, I just didn't agree with the direction that corporate was going in, and I decided to terminate that agreement and opened my independent agency, which If you can see on the shirt, Greater Burke's Insurance Brokers.
Shameless plug.
No, yeah, it's shameless. It's pretty
plug.
shameless. It's shameless.
I should have seen that coming.
Yeah, I wore the shirt on purpose because we don't have our It's All Nonsense shirts made yet.
That is correct.
Yeah. Hopefully next podcast, maybe the one after that. So yeah, been doing that. July 4th will be 4 years with the independent channel. So yeah, things are going good. The market's been absolutely nutty in the last 2 years. That's a whole nother podcast that we may have some friends on to talk about, but yeah, we'll save that.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Follow-up question. What are your hobbies? What do you like to do outside of work and family?
So I'm a big car guy. I've always been into automotive. I've had 20 plus cars in my 40 years of life. So, big muscle car guy, like old school muscle cars, mainly
Nice.
Mopar type stuff, Dodge, Plymouth, Chrysler, Jeeps. Had a bunch of them. I currently have a 2004 Ram SRT 10, which I absolutely love. Her nickname is Copperhead. Unfortunately, she has been down and out since March 15th. Had just a string of bad luck, and after driving with some friends to go to lunch up at Ganley's locally here, came out to my truck, started it up, had no oil pressure. And
that is not good.
No. For those that know about cars, that's like one of the worst things that can happen to you. So I thought maybe it was just the sensor that went out, because I had to replace the sensor not too long before that. And Ganley's is very close to my house, which is very close to where we're broadcasting from here. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just roll with it. I can probably get it down the hill. It's not that far. And I got to, I always forget the name of the road behind Giant here locally. And I started hearing some ticky, ticky, ticky coming from the lifters. And I said, no more, and shut it off and pulled it to the side. And this is going way long, but long story short, she is currently being put back together by Michael Kachavik, Havoc Motorsports in Bath, PA, one of the best dudes out there for Vipers, Viper trucks. Hope to have him on the podcast because he's got a freaking awesome setup up there, and he just gets to work on the absolute coolest stuff. So, Mike, I'm going to tag you and plug you and continue to do that until Copperhead is back home where she belongs. If you want to give me a discount on labor, I would love that. That'd be great. But yeah, we hope to have that back soon.
Well, that is rather winded.
It was.
We get the point.
It was a long-winded.
That's good. All right.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, so I'll get to a little bit about myself. I am an awesome guy. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good.
Yeah, is there a horn toot on here? Horn toot.
No more horns.
Yeah, let me see if I can find one. It's not cool.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I have been in sales pretty much my entire life. I'm a natural born salesperson. I love talking. I love meeting new people. So it's a great fit for me. And I have a wonderful family also.
You do.
I have a wonderful wife. I have
fantastic.
a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old.
They're pretty good.
They're okay.
They're okay.
It depends on the day, you know.
As true with any.
They are good friends with Justin's kids. They are all cut from the same cloth, unfortunately, which means you know what to expect from one, you're going to get from the other.
It's true.
There's nothing more, though, that I enjoy than being a dad. I've always wanted to be a dad, and I started a little bit later in life to become a dad. But you know what? I have experience, you know, that I can sort of help my kids with, even though they don't want to hear it because apparently I have no idea what I'm talking about.
You don't know anything.
Most times.
You don't know anything, Dad.
They won't listen to me.
Nope.
But that's okay because I'm sure that I was like that with my father.
Oh, I know
and
I
my
was.
mother.
I know for a fact that I was.
I am a connoisseur of brown liquor. I am a connoisseur of documentaries.
Mm-hmm.
I try to be as well-rounded as possible.
I have to interject because I have you to thank for the interest in the Kentucky Fried Brown Liquor.
Mm.
Because I was not a bourbon guy before I met you. I was more of a Scotch guy.
Well,
and so yeah, and it was actually a good change because it's cheaper, and it's tasty.
It is very good, and there's quite the variety, which is nice.
Finally, our local state stores have gotten some decent bottles around here.
If you like the sweeter end, you can go to the sweeter end. If you like the spicy end, you can go to the spicy. There's lots of different areas you can go. So that's always something that I've been into, and the one thing that I've been into that I mentioned before is the documentaries, which drives my wife nuts.
Yeah, she can't do that.
I will ingest documentaries like they're going out of style because I always sort of like to know how the sausage is made. You know what I mean? I like knowing how things work.
I was going to have a completely different comment before you even brought that up.
No. That would not be appropriate, obviously.
They teach that stuff to kids in school.
I know. But all depending on the subject matter, it really doesn't matter. Like, I like learning about stuff, and I like knowing how things work. And Jen will come downstairs, and I'll be watching a documentary. She's like, "What's this on?" I was like, "Oh, it's a 2-hour documentary on mariachi music." And she's like,
"I'm going to bed."
She's like, "Why?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "It's interesting as hell."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, there are high schools that have mariachi bands. They can get scholarships to college to play. It's like, this is interesting. Yeah. She just shook her head. She walked away.
Well, she does that a lot.
Well, yeah. And then she's like, you have a problem. She's like, you have a problem. Why?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, because I want to know about it. And I want to learn about it. Like, I'll go on binges, though. Like, I'll go for a week straight watching documentaries on World War II. Then I'll go for another week on Civil War. And then I'll go on a spree of true crime documentaries, which are awesome.
Yeah.
And scary as hell, some of these people.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. It's like the content is the content. But like, I just like learning.
Right.
Like, I got into a phase last year where for almost 3 straight months, all I watched was documentaries on ancient Egypt.
Oh.
And
that'd be cool.
Interesting as hell. And I had a blast with it. And occasionally we'll follow up. But like shows like Expedition Unknown with Josh Gates, I love stuff like that.
Right.
I love learning about stuff like that. Plus, I'm also down for a good conspiracy theory.
There's plenty of them.
Now, there are some that I would love to get behind. Just not going to.
That's a whole series of casts.
Not gonna.
Whole series.
Not going to do it. There are people that try to get me on board with certain conspiracies. And I'm like,
we have a friend that does that.
Yes.
We'll have him on at some point.
Yes, absolutely. I would love to get down some of these conspiracy theories, but some of them are just way too out there.
Yeah.
But
the truth is stranger than fiction a lot of times.
But there are some that are stupid enough that they just may be true.
I wouldn't doubt it at all. I just heard one this morning about like all these drones that are showing up all over the place that, you know, and so if I get unalived in the next week for saying this, you heard it from me.
Yeah.
But apparently like there's this thing with all these drones that are out there right now that somehow is going to involve military intervention, and it is going to lead to a basic fake alien invasion, which is going to cause military action to kind of scare us into place, kind of like the stuff with COVID, you know, shelter inside and all that stuff. So I won't get into all the details, but I heard that and I'm like, that again, that's so crazy. It could be true because where's all this stuff coming from?
I don't know. I'll be honest. That sounds pretty stupid.
It's really stupid, but it was like
pretty damn stupid.
I was literally doing my toilet reading this morning, and that happened to pop up on the feed, and yeah, that's what it was.
See, but we're lucky though. Like, it's pretty boring where we live, being perfectly honest. In the grand scheme of things, like all the stuff that you read,
Yeah.
not just conspiracy theory wise, but news,
Weather.
weather.
Yeah.
Like, we live in the suburbs.
It's
Like,
for those that don't know where we are like,
we're not telling you.
We're in like an hour-ish northwest of Philadelphia, somewhere in that region.
We live in a typical suburbs.
Yeah.
It's, it's one of those things where you're safe, but you never, take that for granted.
Well, 15 minutes from here, I wouldn't consider super safe.
True.
That's
No,
not
true.
suburbs, though.
No, that is not. But that being said, it's nice where we live because it's not Mayberry RFD.
No.
But it is nice because, I know my neighbors.
But
I
this
can go
would
out
have
and talk to
been,
them.
this neighborhood would have been Mayberry back in the day. Think about our houses. I mean, they're 60 some years old.
Yeah.
This would have been that type of, setup back
Agreed.
in the day. Yeah.
No, I agree with that. But, the nice thing is everything that's going on in the world, it's nice.
To be bored.
It's nice to be bored. It's nice to be bored. I mean, there are so many topics out there that we could touch on that I'm not going to talk about because this is just
we need more content.
We need more fun stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it really all comes down to one central theme. And this is your make it or break it question. Okay. Being the holiday season, I'm going to ask this question.
Goodness.
And you better answer it correctly.
Hmm.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Ooh. Absolutely.
That answer is incorrect.
You're wrong. You lied.
The correct answer is there is no way in hell Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Die Hard 2 is.
I will tell you why, and I have my reasoning.
Okay.
There are many movies out there that take place at Christmas time that are not considered a Christmas movie.
Sure.
Apparently, people who think Die Hard is a Christmas movie think it because they were at a Christmas party in the Nakatomi building.
It was Christmas Eve.
It was such a small piece of that movie.
But it was Christmas Eve that lent itself to the entire plot of the movie.
No, listen. No. That building was going to get taken no matter when it was. No matter when it was. It just so happens the first 10 minutes, there's a Christmas party. That's why it's a Christmas movie. There are many movies out there where Christmas is involved in a small plot of the movie, but it's not considered a Christmas movie. The fact of the matter is, Bruce Willis was asked.
He was.
And his response was,
no,
it's not a Christmas movie. It's a Bruce Willis movie. That's the best answer I've ever heard.
But now the question is, does Bruce Willis remember making that movie?
Not cool.
I went there.
Not cool.
Sorry.
Too soon.
We love you, Bruce. We really do.
I have a backup point, which is one of the greatest action movies ever. And this is also a fact. Is First Blood, Rambo.
Oh,
the first.
God.
Now,
it's been so long since I've seen that.
In that movie, when people effed with Rambo and they found out, and he went to jail the first time, guess what? There's a Christmas tree in the police station.
Was there?
There was. Is Rambo a Christmas movie? No. It's the same thing.
I'm gonna agree to disagree because I don't remember Rambo. It's been so long since I've seen that movie.
I suggest you watch it when you get home. It's fantastic.
Maybe not tonight, but
it's fantastic.
I'll watch it over break.
Stallone, one of Stallone's best.
Oh yeah.
That being said, I want all the smoke. You don't think it's a Christmas movie? I don't think it's a Christmas movie. You think it's a Christmas movie? I want the heat. Give it to me. Tell me why it's a Christmas movie, and it makes sense. Because it doesn't make sense.
You guys argue with him.
The first part of this movie. It's like 10, 15 minutes. You see they're having a Christmas party. That's it, man. Like, that's it. John McCain's calling around broken glass with no shoes on, hanging out windows. Mm-hmm. No one gives a rip that it's Christmas time. There's no decorations anywhere else in that building other than the lobby. So you don't even know. I'm just saying.
You want to talk about tangents and long-windedness.
I will die on this hill.
Well, you're going to die hard, too.
Oh,
where's
your sound effect? Oh, brutal. That's brutal. It's so stupid. So you're gonna stick with
Oh, I absolutely. Missy and I have had this conversation for years because she's completely wrong about this. She does not care for the movie in general, but I always look for it at Christmas time, and I'm like, it's not Christmas time until I see Die Hard and Year Without a Santa Claus. Like, that's like my OG Christmas movie. I didn't get to see 'Twas the Night Before Christmas this year. It's an old animated thing with mice and stuff like that. It was one of my childhood things. Saw Rudolph, saw Frosty, all that stuff. But I did see Die Hard and did see Year Without a Santa Claus this year. So I was content with.
I can respect. Like, I respect the people who think that it's a Christmas movie. But those are also probably a lot of the same people that think the Earth is flat.
Oh, let's not go there. But I will say this. So one of the people that's been instrumental in helping us get this started, we're going to name a few here. The very first one is my cousin, Matt. He is a professional podcaster. He's been in the film for decades, all that sort of stuff. He runs a podcast and a podcast studio out in suburban Vegas. The podcast, it's called the Salty Nerd Podcast. They talk about.
Well, that's a good name.
It's a really cool setup. They talk about movies, comics, all that sort of stuff. And what we're doing right now is what they do in regards to all these movies and stuff that come out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let Matt and his lovely wife, Jude, who's also been helpful with this, comment, email me, whatever the case is. Maybe I'll tap Matt on a phone call at some point here. And if he agrees with you, great. If he doesn't agree with you, I'm going to let him argue with you as a professional and see how that feels.
I'm a professional arguer.
He will die on whatever hill he believes on. So
same.
So thank you so much to Matt and Jude. They have been so helpful with, helping me get ideas down and all that stuff. And then our lovely neighbor, Leah, she was very, very kind and generous to help. She donated some of the equipment we're using today. I offered to pay her for the equipment, and she said, absolutely not. You guys do it. I'm so excited for you. She did podcasting for a while. If she wants me to release the name at some point, I'll release it. If not, I will keep it to myself. But this was a super, super big help to get some of this equipment. We have some obviously tinkering to do with our location. We just kind of wanted to get this recorded and out there, and before the end of the year, because again, time just moves so fast. Because if we didn't do it and I didn't press him, I know it would be like February, and he'd be like, "Yeah, I guess we could start this now." Right?
Well, it's not incorrect.
Yeah, it's
not incorrect.
Yeah. So why don't you tell the folks how this came to be?
He is holding me hostage until I do this episode. Is that what you want me to say?
What? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess we can end there. I guess.
No, I'm just kidding.
You want to end there.
He is forcing me to do this against my will. What you can't see is that I have a handcuffs to the chair, and I won't be released until I finish this episode. No. So it was very, very simplistic. He knows the key to my heart is to feed me, so he took me out to lunch and said, "Hey, I have this idea. We should do a podcast together." I'm like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
It's true.
But I'm interested for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe because
you listen to a ton of them.
ingest podcasts quite a bit. Yes, I have a different podcast for different subject matters. And
Well, it's like your documentary stuff.
I do enjoy a good podcast. My wife now listens to podcasts, but she only listens to 2.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we will make 3.
I doubt it.
But it's not likely. She listens to the Kelsey brothers.
Oh, yeah.
And she listens to Jason Kelsey's wife, who now has a podcast.
Oh, does she?
She does. She does.
Okay.
My sister's another one who listens to podcasts. Very similar. She basically just listens to the Kelsey brothers podcast. And she was very non-committal about adding me to her playlist. But hopefully we can wear her down and get her viewership and get her to listen while she's driving.
Should have made a side bet with her that if you won the the fantasy football, that she had to.
That might have been something good.
We should have thought about that.
That might have been something good. I mean, either way, we can guilt her into it.
Yeah. Okay.
For not listening if she doesn't. But I think she will, because she's on the road quite a bit for her job. She slings tires for a living. She's very good at it. She's the queen of rubber.
She's not really built for that, though.
No, looks can be deceiving, though.
Yeah, she used to kick your ass, didn't she?
Yes, yes. There are many stories that we get into that we will not.
Wait for that.
But yes, but she's very, very good at what she does, and she's on the road quite a bit, and so hopefully she will give us a listen too. Other than that, I think what we should do is have a toast.
Yes.
To this episode, and I want to start out by saying this. A lot of people don't know this because I am a jack of all trades. I am a legal ordained minister. Add laughter here.
Oh, where is that?
You had one job to do.
You didn't tell me this.
One job.
Here we go.
I am an ordained minister. And the reason why I'm an ordained minister is because my wonderful, fantastic, funny, beautiful, successful niece, Erin, got married in Disney World. And she asked me to marry her and Jake.
Yeah.
And I'm like, absolutely. Right. I was like, I would love to. But I did ask her, why did you ask me?
Yeah, that's a very fair question.
And she said, well, Mom said you never shut up and you love talking in front of people.
This is true.
So I figured that, this would work out for you. I'm like,
well,
it's a win-win.
In all fairness, that's why I figured I would ask you about the podcast, because I joked about it months beforehand.
Yeah.
And I was just like half-hearted. And the more I kind of thought about it, I'm like, no, this is like legit. Like you were a communicator. Yeah. You were an efficient communicator. And I think you might be make for an interesting host.
I know. And like the key is just not to take yourself too seriously.
No.
There's a lot of things to take seriously, and
this isn't one of them.
And my life is ripe for
I wouldn't call it a joke. Yeah.
No, it's ripe worth getting to talk about, because if I can help anybody from making mistakes, I'm going to tell you I made a mistake.
Right.
This podcast, however, is not a mistake.
No. And it's fantastic.
Exactly. So back to my story. I tend to go off on tangents. No. When Erin came up from Florida to ask me to be the minister, to marry her, she gave me a bottle of bourbon, what we have back here, a nice Woodford Reserve.
As such.
The people of Woodford Reserve. I love Woodford Reserve.
Thank you very much.
Case, I will drink it.
Yes.
And if you can flip the back of that bottle, Mr. Gadish, you will see it says what?
Will you marry us, Mark Bechtel?
Correct. Officiant.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, I think you need glasses.
No, I can read it. I'm just. It's a little late.
But it was fantastic. I loved it. It was so thoughtful, and of course, I had to say yes.
That's like the best wedding thing ever.
I know, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
it is absolutely fantastic. So
we've been waiting to christen this.
We've been waiting for a good reason to christen something with this.
Yeah,
and this is no better time than any to do it.
I agree.
So what I think we should do is take a glass I will grab this one. You can grab that one.
Okay.
We will do a cheers. Another one, Prost. Another one, Cilantro. Down the hatch. That is lovely. Lovely. There we go. It's good.
Yeah, it's delicious.
That's nice.
I'm going to keep drinking that.
That's so smooth.
Mine kind of went down the wrong pipe a little bit, so I almost coughed.
Oh,
I almost messed that one up. Yeah, exactly. You did it for me.
It's a little spicy, but it's good.
Well, it hasn't breathed.
Yeah.
It needs to breathe.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, exactly.
We all do. So I basically want to close off every podcast episode with a quote or a funny saying.
Yeah, sure.
Or something. And this can rotate between both of us.
Yeah.
And I will end this podcast at this before I sign off and say thank you very much for tuning in to our inaugural episode.
It's all nonsense.
It's all nonsense. If you think this first episode sucked,
tell us.
Tell us. Maybe you're right. Maybe it does.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to get better.
I think it's going to get.
I'm not going to promise anybody anything. What I will promise is this:
effort.
We will put forth the effort.
Yep.
We are going to have a good time. And we really kind of want to bring everybody along for the ride.
Oh, yeah.
And get to know us, and we want to get to know you. We will be having guests come in 2025.
Yes.
After the first couple episodes, I think we'll bring in one of our first guests.
Yeah.
And I guarantee they're going to be interesting, and you're going to learn something.
Yeah.
And they're going to be funny, and they're going to have a great sense of humor.
They've got stories.
Everybody coming has got stories.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what we want to sort of put out there.
All right.
And I think the proper way to put this is going into 2025, since New Year's is coming up. Before we sign off, do you have a resolution going into 2025? It doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to be anything other than...
Yes-ish. So, this whole thing was a big deal for me. I'm a little bit introverted. I'm good at my job. I'm good with talking with people, but I'm not usually real good with putting myself out there.
Right.
So this was a big leap for me to put myself in front of a camera. For those who don't know me personally, I am built like Shrek. I'm 6'3", over 300. Former power lifter. I could sub in for Jason Kelsey. Wouldn't be as good, but him and I are about the same size. In any event. So this was a big deal for me. So my New Year's resolution is to put forth as much effort into this to make it successful. Because I don't want it to just be a hobby for us.
Sure.
I mean, that's fun, and we're going to enjoy doing this. And the open format, I think, is going to work really well for us. But I really do want to put the effort into, eventually some more equipment, some post-production work, all that sort of stuff to get it out there and to give people a platform. We've got a lot of friends that are, coaches and teachers, and there's so much cool stuff that goes on that people like myself, as kind of an introvert, they don't feel comfortable talking about and putting themselves out there. And I think in this day and age, I don't say you have to, but I think you're really missing out if you don't. Because if anything, the internet and technology has shown us that, I mean, you can access the entire world in a matter of minutes. So who knows where this could go, any of that sort of stuff. So that's the reason I asked you to start this with me. So that is my New Year's resolution, is just to try and put forth the best podcast we can. And honestly, this is, big picture type stuff. But I'd really like to, do like my cousin does and just take this professionally at some point and, you know, maybe this is a career change for the both of us, you know, long term.
Would be a good stepping stone.
It
for
would.
Sure.
It would.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How about yourself?
Well, for me, New Year's resolution is not going to be something that I've resoluted before and failed at. I think my New Year's resolution going into 2025, and this is going to sound strange, is not to be so hard on myself.
You're hard on yourself?
I am.
Really?
I'm extremely hard on myself. And a lot of people, you know, wouldn't realize it, but I'm very hard on myself, and I just got to give myself a break every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know,
It's not good for the thinker.
Yep, absolutely. So that's my primary is to go a little easier on myself in 2025. And it's, you know, I think it's going to be helpful in a myriad of different ways.
Sure.
So that's kind of what I'm going to be looking towards doing.
And I think this is going to be a good platform.
Oh, sure.
Because
absolutely.
you can just kind of lay it as much as you want out there. And people can take it or they can drop it.
Absolutely.
So I think that'll be good.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for this evening.
Yeah.
For our inaugural episode.
We so what do you think our time is? Because we're aiming for a half hour.
Yeah, we had 35.
Take a guess. Is that your official guess?
Yes.
56.
Crap, we got to get under an hour. Nobody listens for an hour.
It's the first one, so I think we did already.
Okay.
All right. So what's going to be? You have a signature catchphrase?
Yes.
Or anything
So my quote.
Yes.
To close this episode, and I hope most of you get this reference, is if you can't be an athlete, be an athletic supporter. Got it.
Good. Yeah.
Good. You like that?
That's good.
You like that?
I like that.
Hit me up if you get that reference.
That's it. You're going to have to remind me where that one comes from.
All right. I will off air.
Yes. We'll do that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
Spotify, YouTube, Facebook. We love all of you guys. We can't wait to interact with you. We'll see you next week.
Have a great evening, guys.
Have a good New Year. Love you guys.
Bye-bye.